Hello, welcome to the live. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can do nothing and manifest everything or anything that you want. And though that may sound a little far fetched, it is the truth. And so today we're going to be talking about the power of inaction and how to harness that in your own life so you can stop doing the most and getting the least. Because you may have noticed that the people that are doing the most often are receiving the least. So that's what we're going to be talking about today is doing nothing to manifest. And today I am casting both to YouTube as well as to Facebook. Feel free to say hello. I noticed we already have quite a few people in the chat already on YouTube. Quick shout out here. Hi, Carlton. Hi, Dealing with Criticism. Hi, The Focal Project. Hi, Mystery Curry. This is a SpongeBob episode. Are you talking about the thumbnail? Hi, Ashley. Hello. Hi, everybody. I see some people joining on Facebook now. Hello. Hello, everyone. And yes, if you've got manifesting questions, feel free to go ahead and drop those in the chat because as I go along, I will be answering some of those. But let's go ahead and jump right on into our topic and get started. Again, today's topic is how to do nothing and manifest everything. And so I got the idea for this video from actually playing video games. Do any of you play video games? Now, I don't generally play video games anymore, but when I was younger, I used to play Grand Theft Auto. Have you guys ever heard of Grand Theft Auto? It is not a particularly high vibrational game. It's a video game where you hijack cars and shoot people and commit crimes and try to evade the police. But it is fun. And I used to play it when I was in my early 20s. Well, recently, my husband downloaded this game to my son's Xbox. And just to go down memory lane, I went ahead and played it for a while. And it reminded me of this concept of action versus inaction. And so today I want to use this analogy of the video game to hopefully make sense of why action really isn't required when it comes to manifestation. Okay, so the thing that we want to understand is that you are both the creator of your reality as well as the player of your reality. Okay, so as a consciousness, you are creating the world and you are also acting as the player. So, like if I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, there's someone who created the landscape. They created all the cars, they created the NPCs, they created the backgrounds, they created the roads, they created the rules. The rules, they created those. And then you have the player. And so the player is the one that's sitting there driving the car and going through the reality. Now, in your reality, again, you are both of those roles. You are both the creator and the player of your reality. And so, what often happens with people when they're struggling to manifest is that they've gotten stuck in player mode rather than creator mode. Okay, now creator mode, the mode that you create your reality from, is in an active mode. Inactive, meaning you're not doing anything. In other words, in order to create your reality, to create the landscape, to create the rules, to create the NPCs, the other people, all that stuff, in order to do that requires absolutely nothing other than dreaming, other than thought. See, the world that you have in front of you is a world that you've dreamed up with your mind. It's much like when you go to sleep at night and you start dreaming, you create a whole world just with your mind. That's exactly what's going on here. Okay. You have created a world, a reality with your mind. And just like when you're sleeping, you don't have to do anything in order to make that world. Well, the same thing is true here in this reality. You're just creating it. Okay. But what happens is a lot of times people get stuck in player mode, which means that they created their reality. Now they're playing around in it and they forgot that they are the creator. Okay, they forgot that they're the creator. They just believe that they're the player. And the player is the one that does the action. Okay, so the creator, the one that makes the world, is inactive, doesn't do anything. And the player is the one who is active, who uses action. Okay, so as I'm driving my car in Grand Theft Auto, that is my action as the player. So, what's often happening with people when it comes to action is that they've forgotten that they're the creator in the moment. They are in player mode and they are simply acting out to get a result. And so, what you'll frequently see happen is that when someone gets lost in player mode and they're just using action to get results, very frequently it's like watching somebody play a video game for the first time. Okay, so the first time you play Grand Theft Auto, you're probably going to drive off the road 1,000 times. You're going to keep bashing into walls over and over and over again until you learn the rules of the game. Okay, well, that's what's happening to a lot of people in their reality. They're trying to take action towards a goal and they bash into the same obstacle again and again and again. Why? Because they're leaning on action to get a result and they're not stepping back into creator mode. Okay. And so today we're going to talk about creator mode. How do I get into creator mode? How do I step out of player mode and into mode so that if the reality isn't working out the way that I want it to be, I can just shift it so I stop bashing into the same wall over and over and over again. Okay. So that's what we are talking about today. And yes, as we go along, I am going to answer some questions. So by all means, feel free to drop some into the chat. Good morning, Mike. Hello, everybody on Facebook. Hello, Susan. Hello, Anita. Hello, Amanda. All right, let's answer a question here. Got some questions here. Ooh, the first one I see here on YouTube. What is this? Okay, dealing with criticism. Hey, Andrea, I'm attracting successful and attractive straight men while manifesting a mastermind group of gay sugar daddies and male sugar babies. What do you make of this as a sign from the universe? Well, I don't know exactly what you're driving at there, but I will say you are clearly focused on two things: men and money. So if you like manifesting men and money, I'd say you're doing a good job. The focal project says questions already out of control. Yep. Ooh, ooh, I got to answer this one. Sprinkle magic. I'm a teacher, middle school teacher. There are a few kids in my classes who keep talking during lessons and interrupt me a lot while I'm trying to teach. How can I use the law of attraction for this problem? I love that question because I actually had that exact same problem. I used to be a high school teacher. Okay. So I learned about the law of attraction while I was a high school teacher. So let me share with you how you deal with that problem. And this is a problem you can also use. Maybe you're not, if you're watching and you're not a teacher, but you have children, or if you're working in an office and you have to lead a meeting. If you're in any situation where you're leading a group of people and there's some problem people, how do we fix those problem people so they stop interrupting and creating problems while you're trying to run your meeting or lead your group? Okay. So the key advice here for this one is to make notice of the behavior that's going well, but to do it publicly. Okay. So what I mean by that is if you are teaching a class or leading a group or you're managing a group of people, right? And you see a couple people misbehaving, what most teachers or group leaders will do is they will isolate out the bad behavior and they will call attention to it. I need, Teddy, you need to be quiet. I need you to sit down and stop talking. And they focus in on the quote unquote bad behavior. All right. And so what this does is that it validates the bad behavior, it calls attention to it. And then one or two bad apples will spread throughout the group. And you can end up with a situation where you have an entire classroom that's completely out of control because you're really feeding into the behavior you don't want to see. So instead, what you want to do is in moments where things are kind of chaotic, you want to get attention of the group, but you want to focus in on the kid in the class or the member of the team or the person in your group who is doing exactly what you want them to do. Okay, so I see Teddy over here acting a fool, all right? But Bobby is over here doing his work diligently. Well, in that moment, I will get attention to the class or attention of the group. I'll say, hey, everybody, take a look at Bobby over there. I want you guys all to notice what Bobby is doing. Notice how he's taking good notes, he's doing XYZ. Give Bobby praise. So, what that does is it places your focus on the positive behavior as well as the class's focus on the positive behavior and amplifies that. And you will see that in those situations, that is generally enough to get the classroom to start doing what you want. It doesn't glorify the negative behavior, rather, it glorifies the wanted behavior. I hope that's helpful. Thanks for asking. And if you guys got questions, go ahead and throw them into the chat. Nice to see all of you. All right. So, again, today we're talking about doing nothing and manifesting everything. And again, the analogy that I'm using today is the video game analogy. All right. And so I'm talking a little bit about how, as the creator of your reality, you are the dreamer of your reality and you put all of it into place just with your consciousness. It requires you to do absolutely nothing. Okay. So your world is being created by the dominant thoughts and expectations and beliefs in your mind. That's it. Okay. Whatever is in there shaking around the most is what gets displayed out on the screen. And the problem that people often have with manifesting is that they get stuck in player mode. Okay. So they've created their reality through their mind with no action. And they are also the player in their reality, but they've gotten lost in their dream. They've gotten lost in their reality. And they really believe they're just the player. Now, players take action. That's what the player does. The player takes action. Okay, the creator really doesn't take action. The player takes action. And so here's a common confusion that people have about action is that frequently people will notice that I did take action, Andrea, and I got a result. Okay, so I did, build this business and it did make money. Or I did study for this test and I did get a grade. And so there was action that was taken and I did get a result. And so they will use that as justification for why action is required. But if you think about it logically and step back for a minute, you'll realize that this is not always the case. See, there are plenty of times that you will take action as the player and you will not get a result. So, how many times did you study for a test and didn't get an A? Or how many people out there take the action to build a business and it fails miserably? How many people, start playing a sport and going to practice and they don't make the team? Okay, so action is never a guarantee. You may see results with action, but you may not see results with action. And so, why is this? Well, action really only works when both the creator and the player are one and the same. Okay. Action only works when you're in flow, in other words. Okay. So when you get into a state where you are in a positive state, where you are feeling a positive sense of connection, that state, that high vibrational state, meshes you in with that knowingness of being the creator. Okay. So in our highest conscious state is our highest vibrational state. That is the state of the creator. All right. So when you are in that high state, when you are in that state of flow and you take action as a player simultaneously, you will get results. Okay. And so this is what we talk about when we talk about being in flow, being in flow. So if you think about somebody like, again, maybe somebody's playing basketball and they're winning the game. Well, when you watch that player, they are just going up and down the court and it looks effortless. It looks totally effortless when somebody's in the flow. In that moment, they are both merging the creator and the player. And because the creator is taking part, it is effortless. It doesn't really take any work for them, it just happens seamlessly. All right. So action really only works if you are simultaneously in that state of positive belief and simultaneously in that state of flow. That's the only time it actually works. If you're not in that state, it won't work. So if you are not in the creator state and you play basketball, You're going to be falling over. You're going to be missing every shot. You're going to be getting frustrated. You're not going to be in that state of flow. Okay, so action only works if the creator is present and knowing of themselves. And I guarantee that you've probably seen this before as you've been navigating throughout life. Have you ever been taking action on something and you just felt like you were on fire? Like you just knew it was going to work, you knew it was going to come out right, and everything lined up perfectly. That's the example of the creator and the player coming together and you being in that effortless state where your action is really being guided by the creator and it's just working itself out. So I remember this is like way back. Way back when I was in high school, I used to be on like an after school bowling team. I was not a good bowler, okay? But me and my friends kind of as a joke, we're like, we're going to join this bowling team and we're going to be like the Bad News Bears bowling team of high school. And none of us were really that good. But we played for the semester or whatever. And as the semester progressed, I got a little bit better. But I remember there was this one game that we played. I was always the one that got the worst score. Okay. There was this one game that we played. And I don't know what was going on that day, but I was just clicking. I was just feeling it. All right. And I had that moment of just knowing I'm going to get a strike. I'm going to get a strike. I'm going to get a strike. And I just knew it was going to happen. And I knew I was going to get a turkey. And a turkey is three strikes in bowling. I knew it was going to happen. And it did. Now, why was I in that state? I was in a good mood. I wasn't the best bowler, but I was in a good mood and the player was aligned with the creator. The creator was in a great mood and I just knew it was going to work out. So it was as if the bowling ball just even though I did not have the form and I did not know what I was doing, it all worked effortlessly. Right? And so that's what we're really talking about. Action is not a guarantee. A lot of us think that action is a guarantee. It is not a guarantee. It only works when you are in the state of the creator. Okay. Now, that being said, you don't even need to be taking any action. If you are in the state of creator, you can change anything. And that's why we're talking about today how you can do nothing and manifest. Okay. So action is not required. It really only works when you're in the state of creator. That's it. And the state of creator does not require action. It is a dreamer state, not an action state. Very important distinction to remember when we're talking about manifestation. All right, guys, again, if you've got questions on manifesting, feel free to drop them in the chat. As I go along, I'm going to answer some of them. Lisa on Facebook has a question. Last month, I launched a new business and had a decline in my old one. In my past, I would have been freaking out, but I'm oddly calm and happy. Does this mean I'm in flow? And how can I bring in more abundance in my new biz? It's a really good sign that you're not freaking out and that you're calm and happy. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what I would say is that if you're in that state, really just kind of focus on accelerating that state and maintaining your high vibration, obviously. And what I would probably do in that situation is think about what are some things that you could do, like you said, to bring in more abundance. So, what are ways that you can bring more money through the door? Are there different promotions that you could run or different products that you could make, different ways to bring revenue in? Think about a list of those things. Okay. Think of a list of those things and then the operative thing is picking something from the list that really calls you and speaks to you and sounds like fun. Okay, that's the best way to harness the power of the creator and the player because if you're playing and you're having fun, you're going to get a better result. Okay, so make sure that when you're picking tasks to do, things to do to bring in revenue, that they're really only things that are going to be fun for you to focus on. All right. But yeah, if you're calm and happy and not freaking out, that's a huge positive indicator because a lot of times early in business, people get very frustrated and stressed when things aren't working out. And when you can graduate to that level where you don't really care anymore, you're just having fun with the business, now you're going to really be able to generate more revenue easily. Yes. And along that level, let's see, along that line, let me go ahead and drop a couple things in here. Just a reminder, guys, that I do have law of attraction courses that I do teach on my website. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to that here in the chat on YouTube. And then also, I think I've got one here. Oh, let's put this one. Let's go. Yeah, on Facebook, I don't know if it's popping up. But yeah, if you are interested in learning about the law of attraction, I've got all different kinds of courses that you can take on a variety of topics, including abundance, relationships, business, weight loss, all kinds of stuff like that. And so if you're interested, make sure to check those out. And there are different ranges too. So ranges and prices. I've got small things that are like 17 bucks, quick little downloads, up to really big courses that come with coaching. So lots of stuff at that link there. Okay, so I just pinned that to the top over on YouTube. Again, on Facebook, I don't know if you can see it. If you can't see it, go to andreaschulman.com. Again, that's andreaschulman.com. And again, on today's live, we are talking about doing nothing and manifesting everything, and that action really isn't required. As long as the creator is present, you're going to get results, and the creator doesn't need to take action. Okay, so your reality is simply created by what's going on up here, your dominant thoughts, beliefs. That's it. That's it. Action can be part of the equation, and action is really there, guys, because we built this reality to play in it. Okay, so when we talk about our video game analogy, you created this reality, and you, as the player, are taking action for the purpose of enjoying the reality that you created. Now, provided that you're doing that, you will always get results from your action. But if you forget that you're the creator and you stop having fun playing the game, you are going to have that experience that I talked about earlier where you start bashing into walls over and over again. Much like a video game, in a video game, you may find that it takes you a while to get from one level to the next because you keep failing the mission, or you keep dying, or you keep bashing into the wall. That's because in that moment, there's a limitation or a rule in the reality that the creator made, and the player's forgotten that they are the creator and they're not navigating around that rule appropriately. Okay, so in that state specifically, you kind of have to zoom back out into creator mode to switch what's going on. Ooh, wow, there's a lot of questions on YouTube. I'm trying to catch up here for a second. 728 Huey, how can I manifest optimal health? I have a chronic digestive condition plus eczema. Okay, the word chronic. Ooh, I hate that word. I hate that word. Okay, so the word chronic is the word that's used a lot. Chronic means never going to go away, always going to be a problem. Okay, so I would stop defining it that way. Even if your doctor says that, even if everybody else says that, I wouldn't call it that myself personally. Okay. And then also focusing on the health that you do have, right? And as much as you can, giving less attention to the conditions that are going on. So a lot of times this does happen where, okay, let me let me use my husband as an example because I'm always putting him on blast. This just happened with him recently. So recently he decided to go to the doctor, and he never goes to the doctor. I mean, he never goes to the doctor. But there was something weird happening where he was losing sensation in his face. Like he had some tingly sensation in his face, and for whatever reason he started freaking out, like really freaking out. And then he was noticing because he went out and got this app, and he was monitoring his blood pressure and all these signs, and he was seeing, oh, my blood pressure is going up and this is going up and my lymph nodes are swollen. And as he was starting to worry about his face more and more, he was starting to convince himself that he had all these huge problems, like maybe it's cancer, or maybe it's this, or maybe it's that. And as that progressed, he was starting to see more and more symptoms. All right. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about here. The more we lean into the illnesses or the things or the problems that we have, the more that will start to grow. And you may know some people like this, like the people who are like chronic hypochondriacs, and it's like they get every little thing, every little cold, every little allergy. It's not because they're unfortunate. Okay. It's because they've focused on that and it's gotten bigger. So, anyway, He didn't want to go to the doctor because he doesn't like the idea of let's make this worse or put a label on it. But at one point, just decided that it was easier to go to the doctor than to sit there and continue to worry. All right. And that's actually a form of letting go when you just kind of give up and decide, you know what, let me just get this checked. So he went to the doctor and found out it was really just an ear infection. Who knew? Okay. It wasn't anything that was that big of a deal. But in his mind, as he started to focus on the face being a big deal, it became more and more symptomatic. Okay. And so this is all about placing less focus on that. If you need to go to a doctor, you go to a doctor. Get the treatment that you need. That's fine. But in your own mind, you want to start to look at yourself as being healthy. What about you is healthy? How are you a healthy person? And don't define yourself by your medical conditions. Okay. That will only keep them anchored into your reality. Yes, guys, if you've got questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. Samira, thank you so much for the lives. I've been loving them. And today I made the live. Well, nice to see you, Samira. Thank you. Paula says, I think it's important to recognize inspired action and take it immediately. The universe loves speed. Don't let any grass grow under your metaphysical feet. Yeah, that's good. Inspired action is a term that sometimes throws people a little bit. But yes, inspired action really means like right now. Okay. It means right now I'm in the zone. Right now I'm in the zone and I feel called to take this shot. That means you take the shot now. Okay. A lot of times people will get that hit and they'll put it off till later. Well, later you may not be in alignment. Okay. Later that step might not be relevant. When you're really in the zone and you know you're in the zone and you get a great idea to take action on something, yes. Excellent, excellent advice. All right, again, today's topic is all about doing nothing to manifest everything. And again, that action is not required. Your reality is created by this thing up here, your mind. The action is just the game that we're playing. Okay, we're playing the role both as the creator of our reality and the player of our reality. Okay, so just like a video game, if you're playing a video game, you're taking action. Okay, you're navigating around that world. Well, we're doing the same thing. We created a world and now we're navigating through it with our action. But the action is not how we create the world. Okay, the action there is there for the purpose of enjoying the world. Okay, so here's the thing to understand about doing nothing. Okay. Doing nothing is often the optimal strategy, particularly if you've been bashing your head into the wall and not getting a manifestation. Doing nothing is generally the best plan of action because if you get into the doing nothing state, you can get into that state of allowing. All right. So allowing is about sitting back and letting things come. So remember, with the law of attraction, the big mantra is ask, believe, receive. It's not ask, believe, try hard. It's not ask, believe, climb a mountain. It's not ask, believe, do it 100 times. It's ask, believe, receive. And so the law of attraction is about allowing, it's about receiving. And notice that when you're in a receiving state, you aren't doing anything. Something is being brought to you. Okay. And so that's the important thing to understand about the doing nothing is allowing. Doing nothing is receiving. And if we're taking action, we're very frequently not in that state of just allowing. Very important thing to understand. There's an example of this I'd like to give. Um, and maybe some of you have heard it before. And if you haven't, and you're in business or sales, or real estate. It's a great thing to remember. This is a piece of advice I learned. I used to be in sales back when I was younger. And this was a piece of advice that I learned and it worked very well. And since then, I've heard other people talk about it. And it's when you ask for the sale, shut up. Okay. When you ask for the sale, shut up. So let's say that you're sitting there and you're talking to a prospective client and it's time to close the deal. Like, so Bob, What do you think? Should we get this contract set up? At that point, you shut up and you say nothing and you wait. You wait, even if it's through uncomfortable silence. You wait for Bob to respond. And it's a very interesting thing. The way that it was explained to me is that the first person who speaks loses, and that's what's often the way that it's explained, is that the first person who speaks loses. But this is really a law of attraction principle. You asked, now you're going to sit there and believe and shut up and allow the response that you want. If you ask a question and just shut up, you get into that state of allowing. You get into that state of doing nothing. And that is a way that really can be made to help you close business. Because a lot of times what will happen is people will ask for this sale and then the prospective client doesn't say anything or hems and haws, and the salesperson goes back and continues to try and explain more and try and convince them more. And that's them taking action. Now they're in player mode, but they're not in creator mode at all because they're trying. Okay. So sitting back and doing nothing is that state of allowing. And so you'll see this, that even if you are doing something that does require some action or you have been taking action, like getting a sale teed up did take some action on your part, you'll notice that it's in those moments of inaction that you allow the result. It's in those effortless moments that you allow the result. The action really wasn't what closed the deal. It was the sitting back and letting it happen, putting your hands out and allowing the response to come to you. All right. So the action, very frequently, if somebody's not in alignment, they're taking action from a place of trying to make things happen. That's what they're doing. So they're trying to force the outcome to occur. And in that moment, what's happening is that the projection that's going out from the creator is, this isn't working. That's the dominant thought that's going out. Okay. So the action will have no result whatsoever because the creator on the higher level is saying, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working. And then the business won't close, or the shot won't get made. The thing that you won't show up. Okay. It's an important thing to understand. Just a reminder, guys, if you have not yet followed or subscribed, please make sure to do so. A lot of you already are subscribed to my channel and follow my page, but if you haven't, please do like the video. And of course, if you've got questions, go ahead and drop them into the chat. I'm happy to answer them. And Nissa asks, can you make a manifestation come faster? I know it will happen at the right time, but I'm curious to see if I can speed it up. Yeah, you can make anything happen like that. It's a question of when do I step out of the belief that this isn't going to happen or that I have to wait. So the phrase that you use there, I will know it will happen at the right time. That's a phrase that a lot of people do use, and it's like a self-soothing phrase. And I do like it, that it will happen in divine timing. It will happen when the timing is right. But sometimes what happens with that phrase is people are using that as a way of saying that I have to wait, like I have to wait for it. Understand that the right time is the time that you're in alignment, and you can be in alignment right now. That's the thing to understand. It will happen at the right time, but the right time is when you're in alignment. When creator mode and player mode have aligned. That's when it's going to happen. So what I would ask yourself, why do you think this isn't happening? Why do you think I can't have this? Why do you think you don't deserve this, or you shouldn't have it? Because that'll tell you what limitation you are currently putting out there that is blocking your success and causing you to not get to where you want, not level up to the next level you wish to be at. Once you kind of get through whatever that is, it can happen very, very quickly. Another thing you can do is just give up on it. Okay? So we're talking today about how to do nothing and manifest everything. A lot of times just giving up on the dream. That's that's enough because you stop pushing against it, right? Rainbow Traveling Yogi asks, how would you recommend jumping back and forth from the player and the creator? When you're not having fun, do nothing. If you're not having fun, stop. I mean, it's simple advice, but it's true. Whenever you're doing something and you're not having fun, creator and player are not aligned. Okay. So if you're doing something and it sucks, stop. Everyone seems to think there's some virtue at hanging in there when it's not fun. There's not, because you're never going to get a result in that situation. Okay. So whenever that happens, step out of player mode and go relax, go take it easy, or find another game you want to play. But yeah, it's not worth really taking any action whatsoever if you're not in flow. Keep that in mind. And as an extra note to that, sometimes you will feel inspired to do things that maybe seem kind of silly or stupid or that you shouldn't be doing them. So like maybe you're working but you're not having fun and you're not enjoying it. When you okay, let me go do something else that is fun, and what you want to do is to go to Target and go shopping for knickknacks, and that makes no sense whatsoever because it isn't going to get you anywhere in your career. But give yourself permission to go do that, because if you have fun while doing that, you may see that certain things just start manifesting for you and working. I can't tell you how many times I've stepped out of player mode at work because I wasn't having fun and went and did something stupid and then checked my email and I made a bunch of sales because I was screwing around doing nothing. Okay. So it's a very important thing to understand. Player mode is supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun in player mode, get out of it. Girl About Town 100 asks, can you knock yourself out of alignment or push your manifestation away by doing too much, by taking too much action to make your manifestation happen? Yes, exactly. That's just what I was talking about right there. Doing too much just means not having fun. Okay? Because what drives that is a belief in the mind that I need to do more or I'm not worthy of it just coming. That's what's causing that. Okay, so in the creator mind, you have this limitation that's saying, I'm not worthy of this just as I am. So I need to do more. I need to do more. I need to do more. Okay, so if you find that there's any subject that you're doing that with, that you are seriously a workaholic on, I don't care if it's dating, if it's your actual job, if it's manifesting money, if you're doing the 369 method every day of your life, like if there's something like that going on, please understand that generally speaking, there's a belief that I'm not worthy just to receive this. Okay. So, yes, that absolutely can keep you from getting your dream. Okay. But it's fueled by a limitation. Upasana says, I'm so thankful and happy and blessed to have come across your videos. You have completely changed my life for the best. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, if you guys have questions about manifestation, please go ahead and drop them into the chat. All right, so our topic today is all on doing nothing and manifesting everything. And another point that I want to make out here is that, when the creator mind makes a change, reality changes instantaneously. Okay, so when the creator mind, not the player, not the action, when the creator's mind changes, reality changes. And it oftentimes will happen where it's a profound change. A profound change. And this is when we talk about quantum leaps. If you've heard about quantum leaping before, that's when you really kind of go from one reality to one that seems quite different very quickly. That's because the creator's mind changed. And so when we have these quantum leap experiences where suddenly reality shifts dramatically, it never has anything to do with action. It always has to do with the mind. Okay, so you may have had an experience in your past where you got something suddenly that just came out of nowhere that you didn't take any action at all. So a really great example of this is like if you meet your soulmate, okay? You were just screwing around, you were at the bar, or you were walking down the street or who knows where you were, and boom, suddenly that person just showed up out of nowhere. You didn't take any action, you didn't do anything. But what had happened preceding that was that something in your mind had changed. Perhaps you let go of the idea of trying to manifest something. That's usually what it is. The second you say, you know what, I'm not even going to bother. I don't even need to manifest a soulmate anymore. I don't care. That's when they show up. And that takes no action whatsoever, but it's a change in the mind. See, the giving up on a dream is often something that really will cause it to show up. And this is something that a lot of people get wrong with manifestation because they believe that they're supposed to continue to focus on what they want and make it happen. But in the focusing on something to make it happen, what they end up doing is they end up trying to make it happen, which again comes from that place of I'm not just worthy to receive this as I am. That's the belief that the creator mind is putting out. And so block after block after block will happen to keep that person or that thing away from them. But the second they kind of give up and they say, I don't care anymore, I'm over it, I'm moving on. Now, what the creator mind is saying is, I just want to be happy and have a good time. I don't need this to make me happy. I'm good enough as I am. I'm good enough as I am. And now reality shifts dramatically to reinforce that new belief. I'm good enough as I am. So instead of I'm not worthy to receive my dream, I'm good enough as I am. Boom, guy shows up. Boom, you get the job. Boom, money comes in instantaneously without you taking any action at all. So I'm mentioning this because if you're finding yourself stuck in player mode, okay, where you're playing your reality game, you're taking a lot of action, but you keep bashing into the same wall over and over and over again, do nothing really is your best advice. It really is your best advice just to say, you know what, I don't even need this. Next. All right, that will be enough to give you a quantum leap change. Steven asks, is every purchase of a lottery ticket against the law of attraction if you want to manifest money? No, no. Okay. You ever have a moment where you just want to do something? And maybe it's something that you ordinarily wouldn't do or you think you're not supposed to do. Or you tell yourself, I'm not buying any more lottery tickets. Okay, I'm done with this. But then you get this little inkling. I feel like I got to buy one now. Okay. If you get that sense of, I really want to buy that lottery ticket. Like maybe you're at a 7-Eleven or a gas station and then that thought just goes through your head. Boom, get it. Okay, because that's what we were talking about before. I had a question on I had a statement on Facebook someone made about inspired action. If you get that hit like in the moment, buy the ticket, then buy the ticket. Okay. But if you're trying to strategize your lottery purchases, that's not going to be as successful because again, that's trying to make it happen. Trying to make it happen. So there's nothing wrong with buying a lottery ticket. But the question is, again, is player and creator in alignment? All right. Are you playing the game and having fun? Or are you buying the lottery ticket from a state of feeling lack or that I really need this money or it's not going to happen? Eric says, I have a corporate job that I want to leave. I tried multiple attempts to start a side hustle to replace my corporate income, but I always fall back in working my corporate job. How can I move forward? Two choices. Pick your poison. Option one, just leave. That's the daring one. That's the one I like. Just go. All right. Go and away will be made. That one scares the bejesus out of a lot of people, but I like that one. Just go. Because if you just go, away will be you'll figure out the path. Okay. The second option is to find a way to love your current job. And that sounds like I don't love my current job. Why would I love my current job? I don't want to be stuck at my current job. But if you're at a job you do not like, or you're not enjoying working, the main problem that you're having is that you're focusing on you don't like your job, you don't like your job, you don't like your job, and you're keeping anchored in your reality a job you don't like, a job you don't like, a job you don't like. So what you can do is do inventory on your current profession and start to make it your primary focus of what are the things I appreciate and enjoy about my job, and as much as possible stay laser focused into that, because then you'll start to sing a new tune. I like my job. I like my job. I like working. I like working. And then your reality will shift and put you in a position where whatever work you're doing is really in alignment with your higher joy. So whatever your current profession is will metamorphose. Either it will change, maybe you'll be offered a new position, or maybe you'll suddenly get an idea for a business that will work, or maybe you'll be headhunted for something else. Like something will happen to line you up with that more dominant belief now that I enjoy work. Okay, so those are your two options: leave or find a way to love what you do currently. Joys to the World on Facebook says, question, how to do nothing, but at the same time be self-disciplined enough to do the things I had told myself to do, like the income producing activities for my business. Thank you. Ooh. Okay. Well, so disciplined enough to do the things I told myself to do. That's the problem. Okay. Again, action is player mode. Player mode is for the sake of having fun in the reality you created. So you have to give yourself permission always to pivot and make changes or to play a different game if the one that you're doing isn't fun. Okay. So, for instance, and I always have to say the gym because you guys know I always talk about the gym. I go to the gym like every day, and everyone's like, oh, everyone will say to me, oh, you're so disciplined. You're so disciplined. I like to go to the gym. It's fun for me. I have fun when I go. If for some reason I'm really not feeling it that day, I won't go. Okay? But I have fun. That's why I get results. That's why I go every day. It is fun for me. When I go, I'm player mode, creator mode every single day. Okay? Now, if you're having something in your business that you can't get into fun player mode with, then don't do it, or give yourself permission to not do it that day or do something different. Okay. But the point isn't discipline and forcing yourself to act. Income producing activities. And that's why I mentioned earlier, if you want to draw money into your business, you really want to sit down and look at what kind of income producing activities are the most fun for you to do. Okay, the most fun for you to do, because there's lots of things you can do to bring money into your business. But you're really only going to be able to stay in creator mode with player mode if you're picking the activities that are joyous to you. So if you're really having to force yourself to do stuff to maintain the income, that ain't the thing. That's not your game. Okay. All right. So, and I'm not saying you have to change it all right now, but again, sit down and think about what could I do to bring money into my business that I would love and enjoy and be passionate and have fun doing. Only do those things. And if and when those things aren't fun, put them down. Okay. You can switch lanes at any time. This is a big lesson with the law of attraction. There's this linear way that we think that I said I was going to do it this way. This is the path. This is the way I have to do it. It's an infinite creation that you can work with here. So it doesn't matter if you turn right or left, you can get a positive result. It doesn't matter if you were doing it this way and you just stopped doing it and did it this way, you can still get a result. Okay. You can always get a result no matter what lane you choose. Okay. Provided that it's a fun lane. So always give yourself permission if you're not loving something to either stop it for the time being, or if you hate doing it every time, stop doing it altogether because it's not the game that you're going to enjoy and get results with. Jean Jung says, how do we get into this state? I think what you're asking is that state of like the creator state or joy, high vibration. How do you get there? Okay. Getting to that state where you're going to get results, whether you take action or not, okay, is a joyous state. What that means is quite literally, you have to choose your joy. You have to choose your joy. And frequently, when people are presented with options in their life, they are not choosing their joy. They're choosing obligation. They're choosing, I said I was going to do that, so I should do that. They're choosing, somebody told me to do this and I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it to make them happy. Whenever we do that, we step out of creator state. So you have to always respond to your joy? What's going to make me the happiest? What's going to bring me the most peace? What do I actually want to be doing? And giving yourself permission to do that, even if it means blowing off work today. Okay. Even if it means canceling plans with somebody, giving yourself permission to do those things. Now, the more you do that, the easier it gets because the law of attraction does build on momentum. And the more you do that, the more you'll see that, oh, I chose my joy and things worked out. And you'll be encouraged to continue to do that. But so many people are in the habit of doing what they don't want to do or putting their dreams off for another time or sticking with activities that they don't want to be doing. And then that pulls them out of creator mode. And then they get stuck in player mode and they keep bashing into the same walls. Okay. So choose your joy as much as possible every second of the day if you can. All right. Guinevere asks, how do I manifest high vibe friends? They're usually broke and have financial problems. Yeah. Okay. People. Okay. So, a helpful thing to understand about people, real helpful, is that we stamp them pretty quick. So, when you meet somebody, you start to form beliefs about who that person is. Okay. So, if I meet somebody and I'm not in a good mood that day, then that person that I manifest into my reality is going to reflect that negative mood. And so as I've met that person, now they're kind of starting off on a negative trajectory with me. Okay. And so this is something to understand. If I have friends who are broke or whatever, maybe I met them back when I had a less abundant mindset, or maybe I met them when I wasn't feeling like I was that prosperous that day. And so they said some things that reinforced that belief. And now I came to see them as being broke. And now they really are kind of that broke mentality because the law of attraction picks up momentum over time. Okay. So it's a helpful thing to understand is that when you manifest people into your reality, they're matching you from what the creator was putting out at that moment. Now, if I forget that I'm the creator, I will start to identify them with those characteristics, and that can be for positive or for negative. So if I meet somebody, I'm in a really great mood, and that person's really friendly and kind and optimistic, I'll label them as such. And now I start to believe that this person is a positive person, and they show up that way more and more in my reality. So, to answer that question fully, what I would say is that when you're meeting people, again, I wouldn't be going out and trying to make friends if I was in a bad mood that day. And when I do meet people, I want to go into it with the mentality that this person is a blank slate. So whenever I meet people now, what I try to do is I try to focus on what do I like about you? What do I admire about you? What do we have in common? Those are the things I try to think about the minute I meet somebody. Kind of scan them real quick. What do I like about you? Oh, I like your shoes, like your hair. You got a nice voice. It can be that trivial and stupid. But the point is that I recognize that the person is a blank slate. So I'm trying to put onto them the idea that this is a positive person that's going to be beneficial to my life because I'm the creator. Okay. So the friends that are, they're feeling really broke and whatever, I wouldn't try to change them too much if you unless you want to, you don't have to, but just with new people, realize that when you meet somebody, that's when you're going to start putting beliefs on them. So do your darndest to focus on what you like about people, what you appreciate about people, what you admire about them the minute you meet them. That way you're more likely to manifest a very positive relationship with that person. Pamela, thank you for the synchronicity. Yes, thank you too. Maha asks, my question is how to keep the faith in your manifestation and avoid defaulting back into old situations that you have outgrown. Ooh, keep the faith. Keep the faith in the manifestation oftentimes means time to put that dream down and let go of it. Not because we don't want it, but because we do want it. And giving up often puts you back in do nothing mode and lets things come. So keeping the faith in the manifestation suggests to me that we're trying too hard. I would just say, okay, I'm gonna go make a different plan. What's a different manifestation? Something different that I want. Go reach for something new. Take the pressure off this one because you'll stop pushing against it. And then you say avoid defaulting back into old situations that you have outgrown. Respond to them differently. Okay, so again, when we're in player mode and we're taking action, but we're not, the creator isn't there, and we're in that lowered state, we end up bashing into the same wall again and again and again. You guys may have heard this. People will call this like karmic cycles. That's said a lot, but you have the same problem, experience it this again and again and again. So what happens is that there's something that we're bashing up against and we're responding the same way every time. Okay? So what you want to ask yourself is how would the creator respond to this? What's the correct way to respond to this situation? I'm not going to do it the way that I've always done it. It's kind of like the what would Jesus do, like the bracelets. What would the higher mind do here? Okay? Because the way that the player is doing it without the higher mind isn't working. Whenever you bash into the same wall over and over and over again, it means you're responding to it the same. Okay, so you need to respond to it differently. I hope that makes sense. Infinite Goddess, your hair looks lovely. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Martha B says, I know I need to let go, but how? I so want to do all the fun things that I create chaos and apathy. Should I put on my pink dress and go to town, enjoy the sun, and make pink sketches? Yes. Go do the fun things. Go do the fun things. Infinite Zebra says, go and a way will be made. True, scary, and true. Yes. I cannot overstate how good taking the leap is, guys. Taking the leap is huge. When you just say screw it, it's a very liberating thought. A lot of people are scared to kind of do that. You might want to try that on a small level. Let go a little bit more. Take a few more chances. Just, go ask the girl out or go, try out for the new team. Like just take a few more of those leap chances because you'll start to see that taking the leap is a very empowered way of leading your life. It's saying I don't need all this. I don't need to follow these rules. I don't have to do it this way. I can do it differently. That's a creator moment. When you feel inspired to take the leap and you just take it, yes, the way will always be made. I just saw one, just jumped that I wanted to answer. Oh well. Marco says legalize marijuana everywhere. Take a good example from the USA. What? VU says, how do you attract money if you are a stay-at-home mom? Wow, so many ways you can attract money as a stay-at-home mom. First and foremost, you're a stay-at-home mom. So you're already attracting some money, yeah? Whomever is providing you with the ability to stay at home, I would be like, get excited about that. And then also looking at all the other ways that it can come and does already come. So a lot of times people feel like unless they're working for something, it doesn't count. But all forms of money coming in are money coming in. Okay, so where is money coming in through your reality right now? Focusing on all those areas and appreciating them will amplify them coming more. Um, yeah, but if you're already a stay-at-home mom, you're already attracting money. I am abundant. Like, look at that way, so you can amplify how it's already coming. And if you're looking for like a specific business or a specific job, like what's the most fun? Okay, what's the most fun? That will be the most successful for you. Such good questions. And yes, guys, a reminder too that if you enjoy this content, I do have a membership site that does come with an app. I've got now it's 300. I just crossed 300 resources that are on the membership platform. These are resources that cannot be found on YouTube or anywhere else. As a member, you do also get 3 audio downloads from me each month and access to my membership app. I did go ahead and put a link to that in the YouTube chat. Again, if you're on Facebook, you can find it at andreaschulman.com. And yes, lots of manifesting advice on tons of different topics, including, again, relationships, abundance, physical fitness, weight loss, basic law of attraction strategies, you name it. Additionally, if you have yet to take my manifesting test, I do recommend that you do that. I have a very quick, free 5-minute test where you can practice the law of attraction, put something out, and watch it come back so that you can know for sure that you really are the creator of your reality. That test can be located at manifestingtest.com. Again, that's manifestingtest.com. There should be a link over here now on YouTube, I think on Facebook as well. And then also for my next live, I do plan on being here on Sunday, although I'll be on YouTube and Instagram. So if you're on Facebook and you'd like to watch me again, you can hop over to YouTube or Instagram this coming Sunday at the same time, which is 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. But that's all the time I've got today, guys. Thanks so much for showing up and for participating. And again, if you've got questions that I did not answer, feel free to bring them to the next chat and let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.